Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. Alright, if you guys are not aware, they announced plenty of things on Twitter, so let's talk about the banners that's coming. Now first things first, Blue Archive will celebrate this special 2-year anniversary live stream, and that will be happening on October 28th. So that's going to be approximately 1 month from now. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we're gonna get back some interesting events, and they're gonna bring back some exclusive banners along the way. But that's going to be the 2-year anniversary. You know, hopefully we'll have some amazing things or amazing events again happening for the global server. But if you guys are not aware, this coming patch, this coming week, we're gonna have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 banners. Okay, literally 5 banners happening at the same time. So let's go, let's talk about all of these characters. Now first things first, just keep in mind that if you are new to the game, all these banners are going to feel new to you, right? So we have New Year Kayoko 3-star, alright, we have New Year Haruka, which is also a 3-star. So these two are going to be the new banners. So they have never appeared before. However, the other 3, which is New Year Aru, New Year Mutsuki, and New Year Serika, these are old banners, alright? They have occurred before previously. So they are just doing all these New Year banners at the same time. So out of these 5 banners, which ones are limited? So the 2 limited ones are going to be New Year Aru and New Year Mutsuki. These 2 are the unique banners. You can see right here, right? So they have the unique right here, unique. That means they will not appear in the standard banner. So if you miss out on them, you might have to wait 1 year before they rerun them ever again. Something to consider, right? The rest, New Year Serika, New Year Haruka, and New Year Kayoko, these are standard characters, I should say, right? Now a lot of JP players will tell you, hey, you gotta look out for this character right here, New Year Kayoko, because she's just so good. And I do agree to a certain extent, right? For sure, you can see what she does is she increases Mystic effectiveness for 1 ally other than the user, 40 seconds. So she also increased crit for 1 ally, she also increased attack, she increased your attack when an ally crits 200 times. So Mystic effectiveness, basically she fits really well in a Mystic team, and she's a very low cost unit, 2 costs if I'm not mistaken. So let's show you guys what she can do. Again, I'm gonna brief summary what she does overall. New Year Kayoko, Mystic type, special, alright, so that means she stays at the back. So you can see 92% Mystic damage bonus against the enemies weak to it. So she's gonna be able to give you this and grant them Omamori status, and also increase crit rate by 39.5%, almost 40%. That means you're almost always going to consistently crit, which is very good. Lasts for 25 seconds. Increase attack by 26.6%. And when your allies deal 200 critical hits, increase their attack by 25%. For allies with an Omamori, it will add 41.8% to the Mystic damage bonus against the enemies weak to it. And this is insane because it's going to make your character does a lot of damage, insane amount of damage. However, as you can see, she's going to be very specific towards Mystic type bosses, right? So she is going to be doing Mystic type damage bonus, right? She's going to be buffer, just like I've mentioned before. That means if you are new and you pull for New Year Kayoko right here, she's not going to be that big of a help for you, to be honest. The reason why is because if you are a new player, you want to pull for someone that's much more flexible. Somebody like Himari, Ako, because those are flexible units that you can use in every single raid. Whereas for, you know, New Year Kayoko right here, despite her being really strong, she's much more beneficial to an account that's already like kind of a intermediate to advanced account, right? Not a beginner account, but you know, you have been playing for 6 months, you have all the rosters, you have all the yellow characters, the red characters, the blue characters, so you're looking to improve your blue team even more. She will be able to help you there, for sure. Alright, so for a lot of you guys, if you are new, my recommendation is actually to not pull for her. Like, if you are completely new, try to get New Year Mutsuki instead. So why New Year Mutsuki? Like I mentioned, New Year Mutsuki is the limited character. She's one of the two between her and New Year Aru. So she's going to be the better one. So New Year Mutsuki, what can she do, right? If you don't have her yet, you can see right here, she's also going to be Mystic and Heavy Striker, right? She's a Mystic type, again, attacker. Her armor type is Heavy, and she's a Striker, that means she stays in front. So her EX cost is 2, right? So Kayoko is also 2 as well, just so you guys know. But she is a damage dealer. So you can see she does 302% damage to enemies in an arc-shaped area. So in an arc-shape, very, very good. Again, 2 cost damage dealers, they are quite rare. So having New Year Mutsuki in your team is going to help you a ton, especially in all those annoying drills and stuff. Every 50 seconds, she can deal damage to the enemies in a straight line. And if Mutsuki holds 6 Little Devils, she will deal additional damage, right? So every time she uses her EX skill and hit 3 enemies, she will gain 1 Little Devil for 56 seconds. And she can hold up to 6. Critical damage is increased by 4% for every Little Devil that Mutsuki holds. So again, she's a very good damage dealer overall. If you are looking for an AoE Mystic team, she will help you a ton. Now, is she a must-have? Not really, right? So I feel like despite her being really, really strong, if you are a new player and you need like a blue Mystic type character, Chise is probably going to be your go-to, right? She is going to be a solid one. Alright, everybody should have access to her. She's 2-star, easily obtainable. She's a 4 cost and she does damage over time in a circular area. Now Mutsuki is going to be similar, slight variation in a different area. Arch damage, 2 costs. I do think that Mutsuki is a big upgrade if you're looking for an AoE character for Mystic type, because I do think that the Mystic type lacks a lot of AoE damage dealers. Bunny Karin is a 7 cost unit. She's an AoE, but you can't really get her right now because she's limited. There's also Bunny Asuna. She is in the standard, but again, she's going to be harder to use for a lot of players because her high cost, right? 5 costs. But other than that, AoE for Mystic type, there's not many of them, right? Haruna is not, I wouldn't call her an AoE. She can be used as an AoE, but her straight line is so thin and it's really hard to basically aim multiple enemies sometimes, right? So you're left with not much choices. Chise is probably going to be the best one. And yes, while every player has her, it's always good to have a secondary one, right? So if you don't have Iroha, for example, I do think that New Year Mutsuki is definitely going to be a very, very strong character to have. Plus, she's limited, so if you miss out on her, like I mentioned, you gotta wait 1 whole year to get her. Now let's talk about New Year Aru. Should you get New Year Aru? She's also the other limited, right? So New Year Aru is not needed as much. She is going to be a penetration type, a yellow type, as you can see, striker as well. So she restores skill cost for each this bad deed that she currently holds, right? And reset the number of bad deeds to 0. Also at the same time deals 340% damage against 1 enemy. For surrounding enemies that have not been hit, she is going to deal a further 340% damage up to 11 times. So every 30 seconds she will deal small damage to a circular area, increase her own HP for the passive skill. So sub skill is every 6 enemies defeated by allies, Aru will obtain this bad deed thing, and can hold up to 3 to 6 bad deeds. So defense is decreased by 5.3% for every bad deed currently held. I think this is 2.8%. I think this is a typo, right? Up to 5.3%. So you can see she needs to be able to kill multiple enemies, 6 enemies in total every time to stack 1 bad deed. So she can take a while to ramp up, right? To ramp up to her maximum potential, which is why it's really, really hard to use her. And you can see her EX skill cost is 6 by default. She's a limited, sure, but I don't see why you would want to use her. Like, there's a lot of other piercing type characters, right? For example, Yori, Kazusa, and even Mika, right? So I don't think, like maybe before this, when she was first released last year, sure, there might be some sort of reason to basically have to obtain her, right? But with Mika's existence right now, which power creeps every single piercing type, there's just no need for you to have Aru anymore. Unless you want to obtain her for collection, just for limited purposes, sure, go for it. Other than that, you know, there's just no reason, like I said, meta-wise. Now, next up is we're going to talk about Haruka. This is going to be the other new character that's not limited. Keep in mind, she's an explosive light type. So what is she all about? She's going to have a support role to debuff the enemy. You can see lower critical resistance and critical damage resistance of one enemy by up to 41% and also deals damage to them. 4 cost EX by the way, right? So every 30 seconds, she's going to be able to lower critical damage resistance of one enemy up to 30% for 20 seconds, which is not bad, alright? And so increase attack, and the sub-skill increase cost recovery of allies as well. So this is actually pretty good if you think about it. New Year Haruka is not bad. While this is pretty good, let's compare to one of the character that I think a lot of you guys might have, which is Swimsuit Hoshino. So they both fill sort of similar roles, so let's have a look. Swimsuit Hoshino has cost recovery as well, as you can see, right? So this one is in percentage, whereas Swimsuit Hoshino is going to be in a flat amount when the EX skill is active. Now Swimsuit Hoshino basically increase attack surrounding the allies, whereas Haruka basically lower critical damage resistance of the enemy. So this is going to be good for bosses, right? So if you think about it, it does lower crit damage resistance of one enemy. However, when you're fighting like minions, when you're fighting like multiple enemies, it might not be that good. So something to consider as well. So again, I do think that Swimsuit Haruka is going to be very, very solid for those of you who probably miss on Swimsuit Hoshino. If you guys don't have her, Swimsuit Haruka might be someone that you can consider recruiting. Personally, if you ask me between New Year Haruka and New Year Kayoko, I feel like New Year Kayoko is, if you can afford to go for both, go for both. They are both really, really strong, but I'm still leaning slightly towards New Year Kayoko as a better unit for your investment or for your pyroxenes. Now, let's talk about New Year Serika as well, because I don't want to miss out on her. I think she's going to be a very solid character for a lot of new players. Alright, so she's not limited, but New Year Serika is so good. Like, it's not funny because I always use her all the time. She's a penetration type, but she stays at the back, a special damage dealer, alright, which is quite lacking actually. Most of the damage dealers are in the striker class, so she's a special class. So she does damage, as you can see, and also reduce critical damage by 27.7%. Alright, so in an arc-shaped area, and she's only 3 costs, which is relatively cheap. AoE, very, very useful. If you don't have like Cherino or Yori and stuff, or Midori Momoi, she can help you in that area. She also increased the attack in the circular area, alright, buffs attack, and also increased critical damage resistance of all allies. So overall, she's a pretty solid unit, I would say. All of these New Year characters, they are all really, really good, right? So probably except for New Year Aru, she sort of get power crap already. But for the rest of this cast, I would say they are all really, really solid. I'm still thinking if I want to go for New Year Mutsuki myself or New Year Kayoko. Most likely I'm leaning towards New Year Kayoko because I don't think I need New Year Mutsuki as much. I did not pull for her during her first banner run, so that's something to consider as well. I do recommend New Year Mutsuki for a lot of players, to be honest. But again, that's just my opinion, right? So yeah, that's a summary for the 5 banners that is appearing soon. If you are a new player, I would prioritize New Year Mutsuki because she's limited, followed by New Year Kayoko and New Year Haruka, right? And then Serika, I would say Haruka and Serika equal priority, and then New Year Aru last, right? If you're a veteran player, you gotta look carefully depending on who you have. You're probably either going to pull for New Year Kayoko or New Year Haruka. Seems like Kayoko is going to be much more favorable because of how hard some of the blue raids are, right? Especially Perorozilla. I've heard that Perorozilla Torment is one of the hardest ones from JP server. And also Gauss, right? So having someone like New Year Kayoko at least is going to help you in those areas. So yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of the overall New Year characters. Are you guys pulling for any of them? Now, as always, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like, and I'll see you guys during the pulls. Have a nice day. Goodbye.